And I think what a lot of fans who followed the Yankees will miss, because after all, Derek was in decline as a player, but just the familiar actions and routines. The way he steps into the box, it extends his left arm every single time, touches the top of his batting helmet.
Got little leaguers doing that all over the New York area.
The flip play, the jump throw, Bob shepherding him from the on-deck circle to the plate. All of it. Babe Ruth's last game at Yankee Stadium was in September of 1934. He had one plate appearance. It was a walk. He went 0 for 5 in the Yankees' final homestand, but he played a handful of games with the Boston Braves in 1935, so nobody knew for sure they were seeing Babe Ruth for the last time at Yankee Stadium. Another towering drive, but this one more obviously foul. Lou Gehrig's circumstance, unique. His last game at Yankee Stadium was April 30th, 1939. He went 0 for 4 against the Senators. Then a few days later in Detroit, said to Joe McCarthy, "I can't play anymore," and never played again. That was prior to the diagnosis of ALS, which came to be known as Lou Gehrig's disease. So again, fans had no idea until he addressed them on July 4th of that year and made the luckiest man speech that they had seen the last of Lou Gehrig as a player. It gets away as Drew strikes out, and he's going to make it to first. So the Yankees have the go-ahead run aboard to start the 7th. Joe Dimaggio's last game at Yankee Stadium. A look again. Joseph couldn't hold on to it. We'll wait and see if it's a pass ball or a wild pitch, but in any case, Drew is at first. Joe Dimaggio's last game at Yankee Stadium was Game 6 of the World Series against the Giants in 1951. He had a double in that game. That scored as a pass ball, strikeout and a pass ball. Had a double in that game, but didn't announce his retirement until after the season. Mickey Mantle didn't announce his retirement until spring training of 1969. Ichiro bunts, and Joseph picks it up while it's foul. So Mickey Mantle's last at-bat came on this date, September 25th, 1968. Last at-bat at home. Luis Tiant one-hit the Yankees. Mantle had the only hit on a 1 for 3 night. And you know what the crowd was that night? A little more than 5,000.
Wow.
Then they went to Fenway, just as Jeter will do, and on the same date, September 28th, which would be the last game for the Yankees this year, Mickey had one at-bat and popped to short against Jim Lonborg, and he was hobbling, and they took him out of the game, and that was it. And many people might have suspected that this was the end. After all, he was just a shadow of himself by that time, but there was no official announcement until spring training of 1969.
Great Yankee like Yogi. His last at-bat was a pinch hit line drive to third off my roommate Bill Daly in Minnesota in '63.
But here's a footnote. After managing the Yankees in '64, and then they fired him after he lost the 7th game of the World Series to the Cardinals, he went to the Mets and actually had a few at-bats as a Met in 1965.
I never realized that.
Ichiro's 0 for 2. Paredes in close at third. Another bunt attempt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Whitey Ford, for example, in contrast to Mariano Rivera, probably the greatest starting pitcher in Yankee history. Tremendous World Series pitcher, high winning percentage. His arm went bad on him during the 1967 season. He just abruptly retired. So only with Yogi and Whitey, 8 and 16. So only with Rivera and Jeter has it been so cut and dry. Number 8 also retired for Bill Dickey, who preceded Yogi Berra as a Hall of Fame catcher with the Yanks. Tonight, 48,613 in attendance, the 16th sellout of the year for the Yankees.
We've seen that pose quite a bit tonight. Our cameraman very accurate and being right on Derek almost every minute. You see him looking down, thinking, pensive, deep breaths.
He's always had a very sharp focus on the task at hand. But you have to believe that his mind is flooded with thoughts from almost every direction tonight.
Sure.
You can say we take them one game at a time. But when this is pretty close to the last, and certainly the last at home, out of thousands and thousands of games, pretty hard not to run all the top highlights through your mind as you sit there.
Wow, that's some at bat there. A couple missed bunts, ends up drawing a walk, so we may see Derek Jeter in this inning with a chance to knock in the lead run. I don't know what kind of bunter. See as Robbie Thompson goes, the third base coach, checking right now at Perella. Usually as a DH. He probably doesn't know the signs. He hasn't been here that long, so it calls for a bunt, but oftentimes if a hitter's used as a DH, he has not been called on to bunt a great deal.
In the big leagues this year, Perella's 3 for 10, 0 for 2 tonight.